And yeah, just to get back onto that point, I think Pereira is used too much to save the day. He is a commodity, and as such, should be treated, should be respected for his rarity. He needs to rest and needs time off the main events to build up hype for his main events of the future. It makes more sense to find an interim welterweight title contender. I am saying Ian Gary, if not Khamzat and dare say McGregor asking. I think that title fight can surely be salvaged. MMA is an opportunistic sport at the end of the day. You don't need to seize opportunities unwisely, but you do need to pick wisely. Everyone will be watching. We will just have to wait and see what happens, and what the respective camps and the UFC both decide. But ultimately, I think just throwing an Ankalaev and Alex fight as a fill-in is disrespectful to both the fighters and the fans. I think it also decreases the aura of the light heavyweight division, as well as makes the public lose interest in the appeal of both AP and Ankalaev. Frequency creates the opposite of value, especially when you're dealing with characters and their personas. Ankalaev and Pereira both have amazing storylines and a lot of potential in the UFC. The suggestion that both fighters just fill in for a lackluster UFC 310 is nearly a slap in the face. That being said, if Pereira were to fight on UFC 310 and win, there is absolutely no way he doesn't end up as a fighter of the year and number one in the pound for pound rankings. There's no way. He's already kind of deserves the Ballon d'Or, if we're being honest. We're just letting the kids at the front of the bus have an opinion. This brings me to my next point. I think the MMA media branches are becoming too liberal. I said it, most of the guys, literally bar Mr. Bad Guy himself, Chael Sonnen, is actually doing real MMA commentary. They're all too busy fluffing around, being soy boys and flower fools. This is where this whole fighters deserve a title shot because they fight bullshit stems from. It's because these comrades of ours cannot fathom that the UFC is a business. These are also the agents of deception when it comes to fighter pay and that conversation surrounding that. They are the ones who sow the seed, which is why we are constantly seeing this narrative of Strickland being robbed of his title shot against DDP by Khamzat and Volk deserving a rematch against Ilya. All this hogwash makes no sense, and it can only stem from one pig trough. It's the libs in MMA media. I'm telling you. What isn't getting coverage again, to prove my points, is Lopez calling out Volk at the UFC 312. Not only that, he is prepared to put a fake interim title on the line and even do it in Australia, and he wants to do it as soon as possible. I think this is smart from Diego. I think these are the type of fighters the UFC should incentivize, not like the welterweight division who are running quiet when a replacement is needed and only pick up their hand in time for compensation. I think Diego is hungry. I think he's doing all the right things to prove to both the UFC and the fans that he is serious. I think that the UFC should set this match up, but not for an interim title. That makes no sense. For number one contender to Ilya, I've said it and I'll say it again, I don't think Volk deserves a title shot out the gate, but I do think Diego and Alex going head to head at UFC 312 is a good way for Dana to exercise his wisdom and split the baby. Again, with lib MMA media, for example, I do like the Nauk boys. They are funny and things, but just their pranks, when they try too hard, it really is weird and corny. Even their own fans say so. It's like they're only conservative when it's cool. When they can pocket from the bend and send, then they're happy to promote homosexuality. It's just a big joke and poor business again from the UFC. They literally make Americans look dumb. If you had to show their shit to anyone from anywhere in the world over 35, they all will think the Nauk boys are dumb, and they are dumb. They do dumb things for reactions. They benefit so much from the UFC, yet only have one channel dedicated to MMA. And besides that podcast they have is a big joke. I think every guest feels dumber after leaving. They're ambassadors of the UFC. Why don't they ask more intelligent questions, especially when they have guests like Donald J. Trump and Elon Musk? It makes the UFC look stupid, and it makes America look stupid. Like I said, I do find them funny, but that isn't exactly the look you want to be pushing to the world with all that's going on in your country, the US. I think the UFC needs to do more to aid the cause of the Republicans. They need better ambassadors, and I'm suggesting Whistling Diesel. He should be sponsored by Monster to build a monster truck, and he should definitely come to South Africa to do an event here. Monster rallies fill up stadiums already here on their own. Content on the farm with Whistling Diesel would be legendary, but he is the type of ambassador the UFC needs. A lot of people will be drawn to the UFC through him, and definitely because of him.